Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It's 2021. I'm not sure which video this is going to be in 2021, but it's going to be one of the first ones in January. So welcome to January 2021 CK Knife and Tool. If you're one of the old dogs, welcome back again, gang. Hopefully you found your way through the new year safe and sound, no issues. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping over. This is a good way to start your 2021 by jumping backwards and watching all the previous knives and all the shenanigans that were going on here in the shop. Today is going to be a quick, hopefully, video just to touch on one topic, and that is the bandsaw. The bandsaw and the blades have been quite contentious as of late. And I wanted to do this video for my folks over at LA Cutting Products. Chris and the Meehan family, I wanted to say a big shout out to everybody. Happy New Year to you guys over there. But also, I fielded some questions and emails, both from LA Cutting Products and Saw Service of Washington, as well as people that have watched my previous channels about the bandsaw here, as well as the Milwaukee back there. And they're asking about blades, and some folks seem to be having a hard time with blades and what to do and what they're cutting and such. So I just want to do the quick video here because I just got done cutting this piece of steel here, as you guys are going to see. I start out with, I should say this, first and foremost, let me put you guys down here real quick. Okay, one of the things I want to say first and foremost, guys, I don't use, oh, you're crooked. Let's see here. I do not use 1085s, 1095s. I don't use 01. I don't use S2. I don't use there's some other glamour steels and stuff like that. I don't. I primarily use 2 steels, but have used 3 in the past on these blades. D2/CPM D2, CPM 154 and 154 CM, and then CPM S35VN. So those 3 steels, whether in a crucible form or non-crucible form, those are the 3 steels I've used. Now, primarily, all through 2020, I used CPM S35VN and D2. Those are my 2 steels. Now, both of those steels, if you want, you go back, do some metallurgy studying and stuff like that, but D2 is a tool steel. It's pretty hard. It's a semi-stainless because of its chemical makeup, and then I use CPM S35VN because, of course, it makes for a really good stainless steel knife, bushcraft, kitchen knives, and so on. So with that being said, I just want to mention it real quick is because those steels are pretty hard steels in their normal form, their bar stock form. I wouldn't say annealed form, but they're in their natural form, their normal form, when I get them, they're a pretty hard steel to start out with versus something like 01 and 1085, 1095, stuff like that. Those are a lot softer steels. When I got into doing this, I started to make knives only in D2, and then I moved on to the CPMs, S35VN and 154s. But I had a little struggle with getting blades, and you have to refer back to those videos that I did in the past when it came to how I started out with the Milwaukee and then the Swag and then the Jet and then the blades. I've done several videos on those, but this video is to show you guys I'm starting out with a stock piece of D2. Now this D2 is 3/16 of an inch thick. I don't go any thicker than a 1/4 inch, but most of the time I go 3/16 inch thick. I go anywhere from 1.5 inches to about 1.25 inches on some CPM S35VN for the Kit Badger knives. But I do mostly 1.5 to 2.5 inch stock steel. And in this case, this is 1.5 inch piece by 3/16 inch thick piece of D2 I'm using to shape out a bush knife. Now, one of the key factors is what I'm showing you here is a brand new blade. It's a 1014 Roentgen that I got from Saw Service of Washington, or LA Cutting Products. I just put this on to show you guys how easy and clean this blade is. Now, when I set my Milwaukee up, I ended up setting it up per the directions, and I'm right around that 100 and some surface feet per minute. You know what? Let me grab the manual. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to get your, I wanted to get the directions here, what I've had to set up at. What I'm at right now is I'm around 107 on my speed position. My surface feet a minute blade speeds. You'll notice there's a top wheel, and then it's like the wheel that drives the lower wheel for the blade. the blade wheel. Then the motor is way down below, and then there's two belts. One's the back belt. The back belt is off the motor and a wheel, and then the front belt is your speed belt. And what I did is I set that up where I'm set up. Now, granted, if you got this is going to be the confusing part. If you get this, you're going to see how the pulleys positions are across here, right? You're going to see those pulley positions. The drawing doesn't match the motor itself. The one wheel that's up on top, not the wheel off the motor, but, well, both of them actually, but they're actually inverted. So instead of being coned out a certain way, it's hard to explain it, but I'll do the video and stuff here, but the wheels are actually inverted from the photo. So it took me a little getting used to. So what I did is I ended up playing around with it. So I'm at 107 and 3300. So when I run the knob, it has the pulley knob, the clutch position. If you pull the clutch position in, you push it in all the way and it locks into place. I run my belt at 3,300 surface feet a minute. And if I pull the clutch out, it runs at about, let's see, we're looking at, I think it's 39 surface feet a minute. So this one right here, where's that? If you look at that one right there, it's 3,300 surface feet a minute. Okay, I have the back belt like this and the front belt like that. And then if you go right over to this one, you'll see how the clutch comes out. The clutch comes out there, giving me 39 surface feet a minute. I'm running pretty slow on that belt. And of course, as you guys see, I use Ready Tap. I used to use like Senko oil or whatever I had, 3-in-1 oil or something like that, but that got expensive and it wasn't as thick. So I actually grabbed a big jug of this Ready Tap, and it's been working great for me. And I just put it in my little old Senko bottle I used to have when I did flooring and such. And I put it in there and I squeeze it on there. I also put it in my squirt bottle for my drill press when I'm doing drilling my tangs and everything. So I just wanted to tell you guys this real quick, because then what I'm gonna do is let's do that right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm showing you basically cutting the steel at normal speed. I'm not speeding it up or anything else. I just want to show you guys what it's like to cut with the Ready Tap at my set speeds, cutting through 3/16 inch D2 steel. As you're going to see, it's going very well. It goes really smooth. I don't have any issues. The one thing I would say is you're going to want to have yourself some type of board. I use a little sheet of 1/2 inch plywood just so I can push the steel a little bit, because the steel is only 3/16 of an inch thick and it kind of digs into your thumbs a little bit as you're doing it. But it's a nice, steady, slow pressure. I'm not pushing super hard because you don't want to do that. And when I go in and I want to start cutting angles and everything, you can't cut curves with these blades. These blades are pretty thick. You got to do straight cuts. You can't twist the blade like you would a thinner blade if you're doing scroll saw, or if you're cutting micarta, or I mean Kydex or something like that. The blades are pretty thick, so you can't do things like that. I just go in there and I just cut straight lines, especially along the belly of the tang. I just cut a bunch of straight lines, and then I go back and I cut straight lines and I start removing each little piece as I go. And again, just slow and steady. I oil everything up and I push. It's a nice even pressure. Nothing, I'm not like bearing down into it with all my weight or anything like that, but you also do have to apply some pressure, because if you don't apply enough pressure and you just start bouncing your steel off the teeth of that blade, you're going to dull it. The same thing holds true as if you're going to go ahead and you're going to try to twist your steel to try to make a curve or try to follow your shaped lines, your scribed lines in your steel. As you start to twist, you're actually going to dull the blade as well, because the teeth on these blades, they not only just point downwards or outwards towards you and then down a little bit, but the teeth also actually stagger and they go left and right a little bit. So as you start to twist that steel, what you're doing is you're taking that steel and you're rubbing it on these little teeth that are sticking out, and you're folding those teeth in and you're rounding them off. They're not going to be sharp like this, they're not going to be like this and like this. As you start bending the steel in, those teeth are going to start to curve like this, and then you're going to lose your ability to really hog out material. So whatever you do, make sure you keep, when you're cutting steel, keep it at the lowest setting possible. Like I said, if you just follow that, go back and just pause that real quick, or grab your jet manual or your other bandsaw manual and take a look at that. and set it up. As for this blade, it's a 1014. It's a bimetal. It works great. This is what I have. I believe it's the Rotgen. Contact them, tell them I don't have a discount code or anything. I don't get promo codes for them. We don't have that built up in our systems or our communication. But just let them know, hey, you saw my video, you want a blade that I use. I recommend the 1014 because it does wonders and it lasts. I went through one blade, it was over a year. And it went through D2 and S35VN and the 154s. I used it for all of that. The goal is even pressure on your steel as you're cutting. Don't twist it. Don't try to make curves. Just make a bunch of straight lines. Number one. Number two, oil, oil, oil. I do have that stick of the wax by Lennox. I stopped using it. I don't find it as useful as doing the oil. The oil sticks to the steel. It clings to the blade as it spins through. It keeps everything a little bit cooler. I like the oil. I have the stick. I stopped using it a long time ago. I just prefer the oil. Just so straight, even pressure and oil, and make sure your speeds are set low. You can always go lower than what you think you should go, but you can't go higher, because if that blade is going too fast and you're trying to cut through steels like D2 and 440 and stuff like that, you are going to wear out your blade faster. And then be patient. I've had a lot of people come in here and they're standing there and they're just trying to hog material away. They either don't know how much pressure to use, or they're just, you know, time ticks by very slowly when you're at the bandsaw and you're trying to, you know, hog away material like that. Just take your time and be patient. But I'm telling you, guys, again, they don't pay me for this. And if you guys go there and you say, hey, I want a blade like Chad, they don't send me a check or anything like that. I might get some free blades from them once in a while for doing these videos, which, hey, I'm very appreciative to it. I just like the idea that they're a family-owned business and that they're here in Washington State as well in America. And those are a couple of big factors in my book, especially with the top thing, you know, 5 things I'm always pushing. Made in America or made close to me. Then if it's a family-owned business, is it a military law enforcement, firefighter type business? Is it handmade type stuff? Those are those 5 key factors I always try to push, and they check at least 2 of those boxes right there, being close to me, being made in America, and as well as being a family-owned business here in Washington State. So just wanted to show this B-roll footage and some of the other things. This is what I ended up with afterwards. This is an impromptu video, so it's a little off the cuff and it's a little rough and everything. So the editing's not going to be the greatest, and you're going to get what you get out of it. But I'm in the midst of trying to fill up a bunch of orders, and I got to thinking, you know, I started cutting the steel, and I got to thinking, God, a lot of you guys have been sending me emails. They comment, or I get phone calls from Saw Service of Washington asking me questions about stuff. And so this is just a standalone video on that. So how it's going to be titled or anything, but I'm not sure, but you guys will find it. So again, appreciate it. Thank you all. Check out all the knife builds, all the other stuff I've been doing, as well as all the stuff about the bandsaws and the other tools that I use. I'm hoping to do more of that this year, but we'll see. But anyhow, guys, I do appreciate it. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Keep me from the bottom of the YouTube bucket. It's time to get back to work. Bye.